We start with a knowledge graph, with displaying where we are, who we are, where we come from. My name, as you saw, is Helmut Nagy. I'm CEO of Semantic Web Company, vendor of PoolParty Suite.
And Sebastian Gabler, Director of Sales, as just announced. So, talking a bit of our company, we have our roots back 20 years as a consulting company for semantic technologies, but started as a real product selling company 15 years ago. In the meantime, we have almost 60 employees from 27 countries. We're working out of Vienna in Europe, and we are the seller, maker, and manufacturer of PoolParty Semantic Suite with a quite substantial growth rate over the years of 35% annually.
Yeah, and some words about the product, PoolParty Semantic Suite. Some of you might have already seen it on the conference. It's a middleware targeting to enable semantic AI solutions. And as you see, we work worldwide. One interesting thing that's not here, we just made it in the Magic Quadrant for metadata solutions, which we are very proud of. But more interesting, we want to show some use cases that can build on top of our solution, or that we built with our customers. So it's about knowledge graphs, it's about active metadata that should enable the demand of data that we have in companies.
And yeah, basically the amount of data we have requires quality management, requires us to really know what we have, how we can find it. It requires governance, which is provided by the semantic web, ideally by basically the technology that the semantic web standards are bringing.
So, and the driver of that, and this is also a main part of what we do and of our business, is the knowledge graph. And the knowledge graph, as we see it, is basically sitting on top of the different content silos, sources customers have. We already heard of structured and unstructured data that is brought together. It is built on the conceptual model of the domain you're working with, which is normally modeled in an ontology. It has to negotiate language, as we all are humans that are talking in different words, languages. So it has controlled metadata by using taxonomies and vocabularies. And then, of course, we have metadata on top of our contents and different content objects that are built based on that data model. And that helps us then to build applications that can access that information in a unified way. And that makes then also the AI solution, where we now more talk not about artificial intelligence anymore. We heard before also pragmatic AI. There's also the word of explainable AI, which I would compare. And lately it's stated from Gartner that we talk about augmented AI or augmented intelligence. Let's put it that, which means that the machine supports people to do the work and do the decisions. And
so let's start out with a couple of use cases. There are some use cases that are really innovative. There are some use cases that are more established. So talking about the requirements in the health industry and health business, we have a large organization as a customer in Australia, Health Direct. Health Direct is building, among other, an information platform that can be used by different user groups, by different stakeholders, just normal people who seek health advice, which is particularly important in a country that is in parts only sparsely populated, where the doctor is far away. You all remember the TV series, The Flying Doctors. So here are the virtual flying doctors, where you can really get quality-controlled health information from a digital platform. To do this, Health Direct has to constantly update the latest scientific publications, the latest changes in policies and regulatory aspects. And it has to combine that with an accessible language. So it has to mediate between the different access languages people or the different stakeholders use. And this is powered by PoolParty Semantic Suite, modeling all that knowledge into a knowledge graph, making it accessible to all these users in various applications. Just check it out. The Australian Health Thesaurus, which is one of the products that Health Direct is fostering, is publicly available and very useful to everybody working in the health field worldwide.
Yeah, and on the website there's also a nice symptom checker that's driven basically by the knowledge graph, where people can go in and say what their problems are, and then they are guided through the process of finding hopefully the relevant information.
Does it include stage fright?
I don't know.
Let's see.
Another example, data integration and analytics. It's more demo that we built for HR. Quite interesting. So where we bring in structured and unstructured data together. Again, a knowledge graph is driving them, merging the data together, and then providing an overview or a search where different profiles can be compared. You can search based on criteria for the right employee for the job position that's open, and then find similar people that might fill in the same position. Quite nice example what can be done in data integration in the analytics area.
So a use case that we have implemented for one of the ministries in Austria is a virtual assistant that helps with customer communication. The knowledge graph in virtual assistants can be helpful for mapping questions and answers. This is one way to really do that. Again, of course, the necessity to map different access languages, different levels of questions is also very helpful. And what you basically see here is the platform approach, where PoolParty is the underlying artificial intelligence layer, which is then consumed by a web application. That's basically the model infrastructure, the model architecture we are fostering with PoolParty.
We already saw something about compliance. Different example, contract intelligence solution. Here it's also, when we talk about unstructured information documents, you can do analytics on top of it, but in the end, when you want to do deep analytics, you have to break them down and make them structured. And that's also something where the knowledge graph can help to basically get semantics into the structure of a document. It's kind of creating, I would say, a digital twin or a semantic twin of the document that allows them to touch at specific areas in the document and do then controlled analytics based on rules in that section. So getting in contracts, finding all the chapters that are about warranty or about penalty or whatever you need, and then checking it against rules that you have to see are they compliant when we talk about compliance. So also this is basically an application that allows the use of a knowledge graph to improve the retrieval and to improve the decision support for the human.
So wrapping this up, or towards wrapping this up, let us talk a bit about our vision. We are seeing us currently in a third wave of artificial intelligence. This is the semantic augmented intelligence, we call it. And how did it actually come to life, and how is it historically embedded? Dan McCreary has written up a very nice post on Medium, which is exposing these very nice graphics, which we have borrowed. And the first area that's still the mainstream is the way how we write procedural software. That's the that's in computer science, that's still the mainstream. So basically what you have is raw data. What you provide is logic. Data and logic produces information and produces answers and explanations. Now, we are, for about 7 years, in this second wave of traditional or of machine learning, artificial intelligence, deep learning approach, where this is totally upside down. What you do is you still provide the data. You provide the answers. That's training. So you have to provide the answers first to the machine so that it can come up with the rules. And as you know, the entire thing is a black box. So why did it come up with these rules? You have no idea. I think this is one of the real huge issues that we currently have with artificial intelligence, and this is what we need to overcome. So our approach and what we are currently fostering and what the semantic web is already fostering for over a decade is an approach where a knowledge graph is in the center of my architecture. What do I provide? I still provide the raw data. What I can do now, to the benefit of all this computing power we have nowadays, we can combine it with machine learning. And so we can come up with an augmented intelligence that produces knowledge, improves or augments our knowledge, that comes up with the answers to our questions, so we don't have to train it much less. We can really produce the answers, and we can also ask this machine, why did you come up with these answers? We can understand. And this interfacing approach, this controlling approach of the machines for us is key, and that's our vision. That's how we want our customers to use PoolParty, and that's also how we want to develop our product further down the time.
Yeah, and in the same direction, we had a discussion about artificial intelligence lately, and then I asked the question, does anyone have from fiction a positive vision of AI? Is there an example for, we know Terminator, not that nice, and other examples. Do we really want to have that, or why isn't there a positive vision of machines controlling our lives and deciding for us? This is why I think this move from artificial to augmented intelligence is a good one, because in the end it should be a good way of working together, where AI should empower us to make better decisions, smarter decisions, and not to create a machine world. Because still, knowledge graph is central here, and knowledge graph is what I would call making implicit knowledge in people's head explicit, also a topic in KM. And it's people behind that should help the machines to make the best decisions and support us to make the best decisions. Yeah, thank you.